One of my favorite edible mushrooms also happens to be one of the most prolific mushrooms out in the forest this time of year. And that mushroom is the chanterelle. This is a golden chanterelle. They can get very large. This is a pretty big one, but I've actually seen them get even bigger, like the size of my face, and I got a big ol' head. They smell kind of like spring flowers and apricots, and they taste completely unlike any mushroom you've ever had. Here's how to identify them. First of all, chanterelles only grow out of the ground, just like these guys. Golden chanterelles are, in fact, a gold or very bright orange color. They do grow in clumps, but think more like the little bouquets of flowers you made for your mom when you were a kid, not the giant bouquets of roses that your boyfriend buys you when he's screwed up. Don't be there. More often than not, though, they're going to be growing more or less singly, often in rows or in circles. Chanterelles do not have gills like a fan underneath. Instead, they have these little wrinkles or ridges. They're what we call decurrent, which means that those ridges don't really stop at the stem. They kind of keep going down. Mature chanterelles will often have more wavy edges like this, a little depression in the center, and those ridges I just told you about, look what they do at the margin. They actually fork. You can tell that they're ridges and not true gills because they feel more like wrinkles, and you can't rub them off. The inside of the mushroom will be either white or cream, and you can peel them just like string cheese. Part of what makes this one of my favorite mushrooms is the fact that it works really well in both sweet and savory contexts. So you can throw it on a pizza, you can also bake it into a pie. And yes, before you ask, I do include both sweet and savory recipes for this mushroom in my book, Gathered on Foraging, Feasting, and the Seasonal Life, which is available wherever books are sold. Shameless plug! Now, while chanterelles are very beginner friendly, it's also important to remember that they are not the only orange mushroom out there this time of year. And some of them, like Omphallotus iliadans or certain amanitas, can be very toxic. These are jack-o'-lantern mushrooms, and to the untrained eye, they look really similar to chanterelles. They even have that decurrent pattern, and sometimes they do actually fork at the margins. But they have real gills that you can rub off. They're orange all the way through, and they also turn your hands orange. Plus, they grow in these big bouquets, usually at the base of a dead tree. So don't just check against one or two different features before confirming your ID. Check against all of them. Careful ID is the difference between a delicious meal and spending your evening on the toilet, or worse, hospital. So that being said, do y'all want to see a sweet recipe or a savory recipe? Put your votes in the comments.